¿A dónde está papi? ¿A dónde está papi?
Welcome to the Wednesday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Wednesday. Welcome, everybody. It is basically the middle of the week. Derry Bennett, Quad Bennett, welcome, Michael Hasser. Welcome. Election day in 3 months. That's right. Welcome, Cosmopolitics Raiders. Thank you guys for hanging out. You guys chose the perfect time as the stream is now starting. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Cosmopolitics, for bringing your wonderful community. If you don't know who I am a Difficult Truth. I do the news. I do the politics. We're usually here Monday to Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Blue Brother, good evening. Globus the Elder, welcome. Folks, consider if you enjoy the content and enjoy your stay, consider hitting that follow button. If you're on the YouTube, I see you. Keep liking the stream. Subscribe on the YouTube channel. Consider checking out the merch store or tipping your streamer. You can do that. Thank you. I appreciate you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy the content. Once again, thank you, Cosmopolitics, for the raid. I appreciate it. Thank you. I think I did it right. All right, folks, we got to get started. Tomorrow, folks, the stream is looking less and less likely. So it is more than likely that the stream will not be happening tomorrow, but we'll see. All right, folks, let's get started because we have plenty of things to go through, and I did not... And I did not get everything. Okay, hold on. Okay, there we go. All right, let's get started, folks. Let's take a moment to talk about corporatism and the sugar industry and how obscenely evil the sugar industry is.
In 2016, Simone Barchetta started receiving ominous text from unknown numbers. It was happening to his colleagues as well. Texts saying their wives were cheating on them, their daughters were in accidents. Others simply contained links to funeral services. Their phones were infected with spyware. Barchetta and his colleagues weren't taking on organized crime in Mexico. They weren't digging up dirt on some oligarch. They were advocating for a national tax on soda aimed at reducing sugar consumption. The spyware was tied to the Mexican government.
I mean, I would argue that that is the sugar industry is led by oligarchs, and they do act as a cartel, so to speak. Any big industry usually does. I mean, you should see the damage that they've done in Florida.
We don't have any more definitive details. What we do know is this: the sugar and soda industry was furious about proposed taxes like this one and had coordinated a massive global effort to defeat them. And this is just one story in a long list of corporate strong-arming and deceit, including straight-up bribery. For over 50 years, the sugar and soda industries have aggressively lobbied the American government and distorted science to keep the public hooked on sweetened foods and beverages. And the target of their latest operation? It's schools. To fully appreciate the enormous lengths the industry has gone and will continue to go to hold on to their vast empire, we need to start in the 1960s with a trove of confidential documents.
Their letters between executives, their internal scientific studies.
This is Laura Schmidt, a health policy expert at UC San Francisco.
Yeah, no different than like the tobacco industry, no different than the fossil fuel industry. I mean, like, it's just capitalism. In the in the pursuit of ever increasing profits, this is the type of lengths that corporations will be willing to go to. A tax, in my opinion, is the wrong way. Anyone should be aware of what eating too much sugar does to your body. Yeah, and they'll fight that too. They'll fight that too. They'll say that it's illegal because it's interfering with their revenue. And trust me, like I don't disagree that the public should have more information. It's more just kind of touching on the point that like these cartels, these big industry cartels don't care. But you know what they do care about? Their pocketbook.
Schmidt has a pretty unique insight on the sugar industry, past and present, because she runs an archive that collects all of the behind-the-scenes corporate communications for industries that affect public health.
Back in the 1950s and 60s, people were already starting to worry about sugar's role in heart disease.
Scientists such as John Yudkin published books like Pure, White, and Deadly.
Yeah, and you know what? They ended up trying to like pass that blame up on something else. I think it was like, I think they passed it on to another. Big tobacco equals big sugar. Don't see a real difference. Yeah, because they're all like, it's the same kind of concept, right? Because that's where we end up. Whether it's big tobacco, big sugar, big agriculture, big oil.
At a time when Americans were becoming more health conscious and concerned with one of the leading causes of death, heart disease.
So the Sugar Association got wind of this and they started to worry. Oh my gosh, that might cut into our profit margins.
Yep.
And so they started to think about, well, what else in the diet can we point the finger at for heart disease?
Fat.
And so the Sugar Association's research wing approached a team of scientists at Harvard.
And the Sugar Research Foundation, which was part of the Sugar Association, said, hey guys, why don't we pay you to publish in the most prestigious journal outlet in the field of medicine, the New England Journal of Medicine, publish a 2-part review paper that points to all of the reasons that saturated fat and cholesterol might cause heart disease. We used about 200 or 300 documents from the archive to piece together the story of how this all went down.
That's what it is. Yeah. That's what it was. The fat. They blamed it on the fat.
Ultimately,
this is honestly like literally no different than like the fossil fuel industry funding anti-science, anti-climate science, and the same concept as the tobacco industry trying to like use doctors to try to make people believe that their products are safe.
we ran the numbers, and these guys got paid about $49,000 to do this literature review, which wound up being published in the New England Journal of Medicine.
And if you grew up sometime in the 80s or 90s,
That's so freaking absurd. Anyone eating too much sugar can basically result stepping on a scale. I think this should be left to individuals. Yeah, but like the problem with that is the individuals aren't being given the proper information, and the producer, in this case the big sugar companies, are actively suppressing that information, actively spreading misinformation, and they kind of have their claws in everything, right? They have their claws in government. They have their claws in like the information that that is being presented. Like, nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Government has to step in. Period. In my opinion. It can't be left up to like just the individual, because clearly that's not working, right? That's like saying like, oh, well, it should have been left to the individual to solve like the crisis when the tobacco industry was taking advantage of everybody. Does that make sense? Sugar is like a poison. It is. Elron also brings up a good point.
There's a good chance papers like this influenced your daily life.
I grew up eating margarine, which tastes terrible compared to butter, because you don't want cholesterol, you don't want saturated fat.
The difference to the tobacco industry is cigarette is harming you per default. Sugar, however, is least to a certain degree not harming. No, that's not. That's completely incorrect. Sugar is incredibly harmful, and addicting, by the way. So no, there's no there's like fundamentally, there's fundamentally no difference. It's actually a pretty good one-to-one comparison, to compare the tobacco industry and sugar industry. Like it's actually pretty freaking comparable. Both products cause cancer. Both industries know that their products cause disease. And both industries heavily lobbied, heavily bribed, and heavily influenced the populace, politicians, everything, to kind of make that go away. Blood sugar spikes cause brain inflammation. Yep, situationally, it's like having unlabeled water bottles in a fridge, and one of the bottle has a surprise because it actually spiked with untraceable poison. Right. Hey, Heat, how's it going? Sorry, I'm late.
That'll cause
You're good.
heart attacks. And so many of us wound up really eating more sugar and less saturated fat because of these kinds of dietary recommendations.
An important point of clarification. It's not that every study linking saturated fat to heart disease is wrong. It's that the sugar industry wanted to emphasize these alternate causes as a distraction.
It's to say, let's focus on this other thing that may matter and may matter more.
Why cut back on your soda habit when butter is the real enemy? If this seems like a horrific one-time abuse of science, well, the sugar industry never really stopped. A few years later, the same trade group successfully manipulated the dental profession on how to prevent cavities.
That's wild. That is actually wild that they even like manipulated the dental profession, when we very well know sugar causes problems with your teeth and are propellants, accelerants for cavities, and bad health, oral health is linked very specifically to heart health as well. So, this is just bad all around. I got a feeling I need to look up some studies. That is, if you're right. Well, they are pointing out the studies. They're pointing out they're pointing out just how much like information has been manipulated by the sugar industry. When it's quite apparent that it's pretty freaking bad for you. The people who run the food industries were the cigarette industry. Yes, that's also true. Like unironically, yes, S.V. Harkin is correct.
In a way that didn't torpedo sales.
The original cache of documents on the sugar industry was found by my colleague Kristen Kearns, and she was at a conference for a dental association and was shocked by how much the dental community wasn't talking about sugar. And it's like the most obvious thing. Everyone knows sugar causes cavities, right? And so why are dentists not recommending that kids consume less sugar? And the more she got into it and looked into it and asked questions, the more she realized that it was because the sugar industry had a stranglehold on the dental profession. And so they sort of accept from the get-go that sugar causes cavities, and then they're thinking about, well, how can we keep kids eating sugar while preventing cavities? And so they've looked into all sorts of crazy stuff. We know from the documents they were pushing at the NIH an agenda around trying to find a vaccine that would prevent cavities.
It's not just the Sugar Association. Lobby groups for the soda industry, for corn farmers who make high fructose corn syrup.
Yep.
They've all been using their power to keep their profits as high as possible.
Coca-Cola isn't just selling Coke everywhere in the world, it's lobbying governments everywhere in the world. You wanted me to print you out some documents. I have a wonderful one from Coca-Cola, which it's called the Policy Radar Screen. And it's basically a document that Coke International was using to show all the public policies they needed to lobby against. And in the outer corner of the graph, it's like how much it's likely to happen, and on the one side, and then it's how bad is it for business. And on the far corner is soda taxes. That is the scariest thing to these guys. I mean, they were putting spyware on the cell phones of my colleagues at the NIH in Mexico.
Nothing touches that almighty dollar, okay? Nothing. Not 1 cent, okay? Correct. This is exactly why government needs to step in.
The nutrition scientists who were helping advise on the tax, because they were so freaked out that a nation state would pass a tax.
But the sugar industry is not stopping at skewed science and aggressive lobbying. It's not enough to ensure lifelong consumers of their products.
To these marketing
I'll try to rephrase it. You can't avoid sugar altogether, and everyone who enjoyed a certain level of education should be aware of the dangers too much consumption of sugar can cause to your health. Yeah, but like, they're purposely being suppressed. Like, you're not being taught this on purpose. They're literally trying to push sodas on children by making sure that they have soda, access to soda in like schools. Like, does that make sense? This is it's not that you have to avoid every single drop of sugar ever, period, full stop. Although that would be nice, but like, the point being is that it's bad for you. You don't understand how pervasive sugar consumption is in America. It's in our goddamn bread. It's everywhere. It's everywhere, and we're being told that it's okay. Marketing is lying and cheating and putting kids in an fMRI to see when the right parts of their brain are triggered. Yeah, here in the NL, we did get education about these kind of things. Yeah, unfortunately, not here. That doesn't happen here.
Executives, the most important population is children, because we develop brand loyalty as children. That's why they wanted cartoon characters on cigarette boxes. They wanted the marketing image to get in that kid's head, because when that kid turned 21 or reached...
Right, they tell you how much sugar there is in stuff, but that doesn't mean anything, right? Like, cigarettes tell you on the box that they're addictive, that the cigarettes tell you on the box that you should be aware if you're pregnant, or that you should be aware that cigarettes cause cancer, but it doesn't mean anything. The point being is that there needs to be a structural answer to this problem, right? Like, you can't expect people, this is not a problem that's solved by the individual. This is a systemic problem that needs systemic solutions.
The age limit, they would buy that product because they would recall it from their childhood.
Which brings us to sugar's latest battle, school lunches. Cafeterias have become a cash cow and marketing blitz for big food and sugar alike. These days, kids can pick up Pop-Tarts and Lunchables in their school cafeteria. Even Domino's is serving America's school children. Through trade groups like the Sugar Association, many parts of the food industry are trying to fight rules that would encourage kids to make healthier choices. And in the meantime, companies are tweaking their formulas to keep marketing to kids while doing the bare minimum to hit nutritional guidelines.
So Pop-Tarts, for instance, made with whole wheat instead of just the normal kind of white flour of the ones that you buy at the grocery store. You might have things like Nutri-Grain bars, the newest thing, of course, being Lunchables.
This is Marcus Weaver Hightower.
Yeah, which has freaking lead in it, by the way. Yeah, soda machines in schools. We had soda machines.
Professor and author of the book Unpacking School Lunch.
So certainly the industry is kind of looking for those kinds of ways of speaking to kids and supposedly
Just like tobacco back in the day. Just like tobacco back in the day with subliminal advertising targeting kids.
educating.
I lived on Diet Coke. I never actually liked Diet Coke. You know, the new Coke Zero, or, well, it's not new, I guess. The newer-ish Coke Zero is actually not that bad. Yeah, I try to avoid soda. The only type of soda that I will drink is like the Zevia stuff with no sugar. In the U.S., we have laws that make advertising cigarettes illegal. Also, age restrictions. But on the other hand, there's advertising for Red Bull on children's shows. Yep. I'm on my third Diet Dr. P today.
Kids
Dr. Pepper is not that bad.
about the health benefits of their particular products.
If you're curious how our school lunches got like this, there's one big culprit: budget cuts. Schools don't have enough money for fresh food or enough money to pay for workers who can cook fresh food. And that leaves a gap that only big food companies can fill.
Tea is actually good. Tea is actually very good. Chamomile tea is actually pretty freaking awesome. Catnip tea, by the way, you can drink catnip tea. Catnip tea is pretty freaking good. I don't like much teas besides that.
Cue cheap, ultra-processed food laden with sugar and sodium fillers.
They are in some ways being told through their placement in schools that these are okay foods to eat, right? Because we've got adults, trusted adults, who are sort of providing these foods and suggesting these foods. And of course, they're trying to build brand loyalty, right? They want people to be consumers for life. So if you can start kids early on Pop-Tarts and Lunchables, they will be loyal customers for decades to come.
That's right. So basically, anything sold to customers needs a label of the amount of sugar included, whether you buy it in a supermarket or at least fast food chain, it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's already a thing. But that's not the problem. Like just putting, oh, this has 5 grams of sugar, this has 30 grams of sugar. That's not the problem. It's far more deeper than that. Camel's super good for you too, so is hibiscus and rose hips. I haven't had, hibiscus tea is actually good. I lied. I have had hibiscus tea. It's actually pretty freaking good. It's a culture and addiction. Yep.
Our societal dependence on sugar is not the result of poor willpower.
If you hear people talk about a sweet tooth, that's a real thing. That means your palate has just been adjusted upwards to demand a higher level of sweetness in order to taste that sweetness.
In other words, we're hooked on a food additive that is highly correlated to diabetes and heart disease. And in schools, we're making sure kids get hooked young. This all makes the recent actions of the USDA, which runs the federal school lunch program, especially important. For the first time, they've limited how much sugar can be added to specific foods like breakfast cereals and yogurts in schools, as well as how many calories can come from added sugar in general, starting in 2027. Naturally, the Sugar Association is doing whatever it can to pick fights and leverage the quote-unquote science to confuse the public. Their latest warning is that the USDA's new sugar restrictions could limit access to nutrient-dense foods and increase the use of harmful artificial sweeteners. In a similar battle over nutrition regulations related to women, infants, and children, the president of the Sugar Association said limits on sugar contradicts scientific evidence that shows sweetened foods are not just fine, but possibly healthy. I'm not sure what studies they're citing, but I'm fairly confident they probably funded a good deal of them.
Yeah, this is literally like tobacco wheeling out doctors saying that it's okay and safe. Like, this is literally a one-to-one comparison. This is literally a one-to-one comparison. That's one of the major part of government actions we need in the U.S., making advertisements to overloaded sugar in food and drinks. Yep. Read and Rap, welcome. However, limiting sugar in school meals is obviously an entire different matter. Well, I mean, sugar needs to be limited, like, across the board, but this is particularly bad, because just like the tobacco industry targeting kids so that they can become future permanent customers, the sugar industry is doing the same thing by making sure that they have food contracts in schools. Welcome, Read and Rap. I suspect sugar causes dementia in some. I've heard that that's a theory that's floating around. I'm not sure like what how much or what the evidence is to back that theory, but I've heard that before. I'm just not quite sure because I don't know like the full extent of that. And I'm okay admitting that. I just don't know if that's true. But I have heard that is a theory. I have heard that is a theory that's has been floated around. That's a conspiracy? Maybe. I'm not sure.
Just in case, I followed up with Laura Schmidt to ask her about these claims. Here's what she wrote. There is robust evidence that added sugar in dairy and grain products, such as in sweetened yogurt, promote cardiometabolic diseases like diabetes and heart disease. This is settled science. While the experts we spoke to said the USDA's actions are an important first step, they also acknowledge that there's a lot more work to be done.
The amount of money that we spend on school lunches is atrociously low. The bulk of what we spend on school lunches goes to labor costs, and the actual food that goes on the tray is, around $1. So we've got to find ways to increase the amount of money that cafeterias have to work with if they're going to be able to do these kinds of innovative, healthy things that we're hoping that they do for kids.
Some school districts are branching out by serving students fresh, local, scratch-cooked meals, something they're able to implement through grants from state governments, nonprofits, and the USDA.
If we think about a relatively mid-size school district like Burlington, Vermont, the nutrition director there has done so much with farm-to-school kids, are eating fresh baked bread at school rather than, packaged, highly processed breads, vegetables that they've never encountered.
In addition to the USDA's new guidelines, Marcus and other experts we spoke to also think implementing universal free school meals can help cafeterias get the funds they need to serve healthier food.
Let's not confuse ourselves about who are the beneficiaries of these programs. It's not just the low-income families. It's the companies that get the subsidy. And we have...
Right, and like that right there is the problem, right? The companies are the ones that are benefiting from this. It's insane to see that the U.S. is not as far as other countries in these kind of stuff. No, I agree. I completely agree. Both my cousins are nutritionists at heart. In schools, meals serve two different purposes. Meals should be filling at the same time, educate children how to feed healthy at the same time. You would think that that's how it should be, but it's not here. I don't know, like, things are obviously different in different places, but not here. Not here. Here, it's all just a numbers game, right? And the only numbers that matter are profits.
In our power to change that dynamic. It doesn't have to be large ultra-processed food companies. It could be any part of the food system, any suppliers. And people really underestimate the power of this kind of public policy decision. If we were to take those dollars and subsidize a different part of the food industry, we might see a very different food industry evolve.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, we like to conserve bad practices. Heat storms are rolling in. It has been windy AF here. Here it's been pretty calm for now. Although I suspect some thunderstorms this weekend. Shifting gears here, let's talk about Trump potentially backing out of the debate and surprise, surprise, acting like a child.
Well, I'm sure you'll all be totally shocked to learn that Donald Trump is once again trying to back out of the debate that he agreed to with Kamala Harris.
Really? He would? Actual heat storms, not heat getting rowdy.
On Sunday, he tweeted,
Yeah, we're heading there. Like, okay, what is Chat's bet that the excuse is gonna be? If he does, that's it. It's done. I don't know if it's GG, but I don't know if it's GG, but man, that would not look great. Although to be honest, wheel this. I think that it won't matter because like his cult will just buy up whatever nonsense excuse he comes up with anyways, right? Like those people are still gonna vote for him. Those people, I think it might actually look bad. It might actually have an impact if he does do the debate and then he looks really bad in that debate. That might do some damage. But if he just backs out and makes up whatever excuse he wants, like his cult will be okay with it. That's unfair. Why would he back out if he does? It's hurting him way too much. Maybe. He'll just say it's a conspiracy. He'll just say that the fake news network won't give him. All he has to do is say that the fake news network won't give him a fair shake, and that he's not going to step in that ring because of the fake news network. Yeah, we can always play with his trading cards. Oh my God! Hold on. I'm sorry. We have to stop for a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Oh man, that is a thing. All right, we'll get back to the video after these. Yeah.
Is your favorite president, Donald J. Trump, with some very exciting news. By popular demand, I'm doing a new series of Trump digital trading cards. You all know what they are. We've had a lot of fun with them. It's called the America First Collection. 50 all-new stunning digital trading cards. It's really something. These cards show me dancing and even me holding some Bitcoins. Here's the best part. I'm doing great things for my Trump digital card collectors. First, there's the real physical Trump cards. Purchase 15 or more of my Trump digital trading cards and we'll mail you a beautiful physical trading card. It's really, I think, quite something. Each physical trading card has an authentic piece of my suit that I wore for the presidential debate. And people are calling it the knockout suit. I don't know about that, but that's what they're calling it. So we'll cut up the knockout suit and you're going to get a piece of it. And we'll be randomly autographing 5 of them.
Really? That's amazing. That's amazing. Why does he want to back off a really random guess from my side? Maybe he's realizing he won't stand a chance both with facts and rhetoric. Maybe, I don't know. I think he's scared because it's not Joe Biden. Yeah, he should have just stuck to this and got off the Fed's radar. He has no strategy with a woman opponent. That's why he did not race against Obama those years, I heard. I have no idea. Evil right winger, finally, you say something that I actually agree with. Finally. I saw that on Jimmy Kimmel, but it's still funny. Man, I think there was another one. Wait, what other excuse? All right, I'll just do it this way.
A true collector's item. This is something to give your family, your kids, your grandchildren. Number 2 is to purchase 75 of my Trump digital trading cards. And you will also be invited to join me for a gala dinner at my beautiful country club in Jupiter, Florida. We really have tremendous dinners with my collectors. Have a lot of fun together. We're going to have a good time. I'm keeping my Trump digital trading cards at the same price of $99 each. We've done that right from the beginning.
99 each, okay? I'm just me. 99 each, okay? Oh, man, the machine, the grift machine, man, it's in full force. That's actually amazing. What I want to know is, like, how many people are genuinely buying this? Memo for the record. Yeah, indeed. Holy ish snacks. Indeed. Is it a thing to collect cards of famous football or baseball players? A very long time ago, but not really nowadays. Yeah, $7,500. Just a small investment there. I can't imagine having money to blow like that. But the thing is, like, his cult, even if they buy even if they buy one, they will spend the $100. I can't see him use the medical issue because then he would look how weaker than he actually is. Maybe. It's too bad that Elon Musk is pushing with Twitter. It's too bad because he was great in that beginning. He wasn't. This was always the end game. I still have binders of my favorite rookie baseball cards from the early 80s to 2020s. And you have to pay to get there. Buy a Mar-a-Lago membership, and maybe you'll be in the same huge room while Trump eats dinner. Maybe you'll be in the same room as a cardboard cutout, life size, okay? A life-size Trump cardboard cutout. But he's done it before, a la Bone Spurs.
Beginning. So go to collecttrumpcards.com. It's really easy to buy.
Better than binders full of women.
You just need an email address and a credit card or crypto. You know, they call me the crypto president. I don't know if that's true or not, but a lot of
Crypto president? I don't. Wait, they call me the crypto president. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what they're calling me. You know. Oh my God. What?
people are saying that, so don't miss out.
Many people.
Go to collecttrumpcards.com. Go right now and collect your piece of American history. Let's have fun together and enjoy my Trump cards. We're going to have a lot of fun. We'll be talking about it for a long time. Thank you very much. Have a good time. Go to
This one's amazing.
collecttrumpcards.com. Go right now. No president. I don't know if that's true or not, but a lot of people are saying that, so don't miss out.
Amazing. Can see it now. He also offers a $1,000 card that comes with a sealed container with a pair of his bone spurs. That other one does look like Elon.
Go to collect Trump.
All right, there's like 99.9% percent chance that this was just done with AI and slapped on like basically like NFT cards. I don't know, are these like physical cards? Or are these digital cards? I'm not sure.
Enjoy my Trump cards. We're going to have a lot of fun.
They're both, yeah. 100% chance.
We'll be talking about it for a long time. Thank you very much. Have a good time.
Let the fight begin.
Jesus. Digital, but if you get 10, you get a physical card. Got it. Yeah, hey AI, do me an AI image of Trump mixed in with a little bit of Elon with a Bitcoin logo, with him holding a Bitcoin logo. Boom, slap it on a digital card and that's it. Dan Anonymously, welcome. Nice pull. I guess any one of those could be game. All right. Any one of those could be a good excuse, like, apparently. Anyways, let's continue.
This on Truth Social. Quote, I watched ABC Fake News this morning. Both lightweight reporter Jonathan Karl's ridiculous and biased interview of Tom Cotton, who is fantastic.
What? Bro, you know you could take like 5 seconds to Google this guy's name to make sure that it's spelled with a C or a K, and you decide to like post it. Okay. It seems like it will be NFTs and the one physical one with the not real piece of the suit. Gotcha. So that is $1,500 for one digital card. Sorry, yeah, the physical card. So you have to buy enough, and then you'll get the one physical card. Amazing, man. The grift machine is just, that man does not stop. Okay, when it comes to cons, that guy does not stop, man. He doesn't stop. From Trump NFTs to Trump whatever, the grift machine keeps going.
And their so-called panel of Trump haters. And I ask, why would I do the debate against Kamala Harris on that network? There it is. He's trying to back out. Will panelist Donna Brazile give the questions to the Marxist candidate like she did for crooked Hillary Clinton? Will Kamala's best friend, who heads up ABC, do likewise? Where's little George Slapadopoulos hanging out now? This is so fucking stupid. Will he be involved? They've got a lot of questions to answer. Why did Harris turn down Fox, NBC, CBS, and even CNN? Stay tuned. Yeah, in other words, he's trying to back out of the debate while making it seem like she's the one who backed out of the debate. See, because, she didn't agree to all these other debates that he randomly brought up. Therefore, she's the one who's scared, not him. Except Trump, it doesn't work that way. We all know that you both agreed to a debate on September 10th. And if you do not show up, we will all take that as evidence that you're the one who's scared, not her. You can't say, I'm not going to debate you. You must be scared. Nobody's going to buy that. It's bullshit. We see right through you. But I will say that the reason why I think she got him to agree to the debate the first
At least he got a general understanding of how to use. Let's give him that. Fecal cards would sound more right coming from Trump. True.
time after he was initially wavering was because she kind of forced his hand by raising the specter of her potentially debating an empty podium, which I think was a genius strategy. That is something that you don't want to happen if you are her opponent, because it's embarrassing to him, and not to mention it's a terrible idea to give your opponent 2 hours of free airtime uninterrupted, right? So she kind of forced his hand and got him to agree to the debate reluctantly. But now he's getting cold feet again. Yeah. Now, assuming he does show up, there is a dispute going on between both campaigns about how the debate should be conducted. And this to me is really interesting. As Axios reports, Harris, who ascended to the top of the Democratic ticket last month after Biden dropped out, believes both candidates' mics should be live throughout the full broadcast. Brian Fallon, Harris campaign senior advisor for communications, said in a statement on Monday. Our understanding is that Trump's handlers prefer the muted microphone because they don't think their candidate can act presidential for 90 minutes on his own, Fallon said. So it seems like they've got a lot of confidence in their candidate. But that's a speculation. But I think that that speculation is correct. What
They call him the crappy president. I'd love to see him against Bernie Sanders. I would pay for that.
Fallon is saying,
Man, that was so close to happening, by the way. Was it during the 2020 or was it during the 2016? Like, I forget when. Bernie Sanders actually was like, hey, if he wants to have a debate, we can do this. And it just never materialized. That was a thing that was being talked about a couple years ago. Mayhem Hippie, welcome.
saying here is absolutely true, and I'm glad that Harris's campaign learned a lesson from that last debate, because muting Trump ended up being a terrible idea because it gave him this veneer of respectability and made it seem like he was more presidential, and it was all a facade, right? We all know that it was a facade, but still.
Right, it was imposed. It was imposed. In 2016, he was so far in the polls with young people, even better than Clinton. I agree. I agree.
Not seeing him interrupt Biden every 5 seconds made him look better, right? But I mean, if you let Trump just be Trump, he's going to make himself look foolish. So that's what the Harris team wants to happen. So I think this is a really smart play by them if they're able to get Trump to agree to the debate. Because
right, and just to be clear, Trump wanted that, by the way. Just so that there's no mistake, Trump wanted that. Trump originally in the first debate with Biden, he wanted the ability, he didn't want muted mics, okay? He didn't want muted mics, and all of a sudden, now he does, okay? Just to be clear, he's now complaining that the rule that he wanted in the first debate is now not being disputed or being negotiated.
Again, this is now the second time that he's gone back and forth. Now, I think that she can actually goad him into showing up to debate her if she does what she did the last time and threatens to debate an empty podium and shit talks him and calls him out for being afraid. I think that's a strategy that she can use to get him to show up. Now, to be clear, he is afraid, right? Her saying he's afraid, that shit talk, that's what you want to do. But I mean, this is proof that he's afraid. The fact that he doesn't want to debate her because he'd be debating somebody who's competent, unlike Biden, shows that he's afraid. But this is a presidential election, and if you can't agree to the basic expectations of a presidential candidate, maybe you shouldn't be running. But I mean, it's clear Trump's heart just isn't in the race this time. Like he's not 2016 or even 2020 Trump, and it seems like he's only running to keep himself out of prison. And that's speculation, obviously, but I think it's reasonable speculation based on his own actions or lack thereof. And I say this because, as the Washington Post points out...
Exactly, I'm speaking. Your trading cards are in the memes in Discord. I love it. There you go. Let me see if I can bring this up. Open link. There you go. Give me a second. For a limited time offer, get your A Difficult Truth Trump Bitcoin President Elon trading cards. If you join the Discord, okay, for a limited time offer, this is only for the people that join the Discord, okay? Limited time offer. You know, some people say that I'm the Bitcoin streamer. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Some people are saying that I'm the Bitcoin streamer. I didn't say that. Some people are saying. But if you go to my Discord, okay, you hit ! Discord, you will get limited edition cards with your favorite streamer, me, and your favorite President Trump, and free speech Omega Warrior Elon Musk for a limited time, okay? And if you buy all four, okay? If you buy all four, you will get a piece of my beanie sent you will get a piece of my beanie sent directly to you. Okay? This is the beanie that started it all. Okay. I'll give you all my money. Oh my goodness. Yeah, limited edition NFTs. Don't steal them, by the way, okay? Don't hit save on the images, okay? They're my NFTs. Did you see the clip from the one from the rally? Trump was getting an endorsement from a police union and he basically rushed a guy off stage. No, but it makes so much sense. Yeah, I do think he's afraid. Blue Brother, I do think he's afraid because he has no way of fighting really Kamala Harris, not effectively, not rhetorically, not policy wise, because like, you know, what has he got?
He's been dejected since Biden dropped out, and his own allies think that he's lost his mojo, and they're
right. The reason why is because he knows, right? He's afraid, as Blue Brother pointed out, he's afraid because he knows the consequences for losing the election, right? The consequences for him if he loses the election is that these cases that are currently being handled by the special counsel will disappear. Will keep going if he loses. If he wins the election, then he can stop those and disband the special counsel, and that's it. He's in the clear. So that's what's at stake for him. And knowing the fact that it's not going to be Biden, which Biden was heading into off the cliff. He knows that the prospects of him winning aren't as high as they were a month ago. That's pretty funny, Mayhem Hippie. I wish we had like a video of this. Trump appears to nudge police union boss off stage as crowd gets restless. So it's either becoming president again and spend the rest of his life in legal battles. And the only thing he has is racist attacks and sexist attacks, and he knows Kamala will call out, refute with proof of his lies. Yeah, because like it's not that difficult. The stuff that he says is complete and utter nonsense. Yeah, that's literally all he's got. It's just to like talk about like how she can't decide what race she is, ? Or just be misogynistic. Like that's literally it. At the bottom? Okay. Do we have video of this? Yes, okay.
men and women of the Glendale Police Department, the best and most professional police department in the country. Okay, thank you. With a special thanks to Police Chief Chris Briggs and the other 8 West Valley Coalition departments that allowed us to use their law enforcement officers here today to keep us all safe. Thank you, gentlemen and women.
So awkward.
Law enforcement today is perhaps the most complex occupation on earth. It's an honorable profession of service and commitment to others, those who step in the gap between good and evil and to protect our communities, and we do so knowing the risk. Officers are required to make split-second decisions under the most uncontrolled, chaotic, and stressful situations, often at great risk to their own personal safety.
Bro, come on. Hey, Google what is the most dangerous jobs for more information.
Given the literally millions of contacts between officers and the communities,
Acorn's fired.
With a few exceptions, officers make those decisions correctly as trained and in accordance with the law. But high profile does not mean high frequency. Currently, in this day and age of instant information, social media, and videos, there's an unrealistic expectation of absolute perfection. It is not possible to be perfect every time because
if there hadn't been an attempt on his life, he wouldn't be pointing out the importance. What, the importance of police? Nah, he's a fascist. So he adulates the police state as a concept, but actually doesn't believe in law and order. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Am I explaining it correctly? He doesn't. He adulates the idea of a police state of like armed thugs that work for him, but actually doesn't believe in the concept of law and order, which is like completely wild that's a thing. But yeah, that's how he works. Law and order only applies to the poorest. Exactly. If we lose, we can call him the rapist in chief. I mean, you can call him that right now, because a rapist and thief, because like literally like in court, he's been found to do pretty sketchy business activities, and he's been found civilly liable for the sexual assault of Jean Carroll. Jean Carroll, I think that's what her name is.
We hire from the human race. People are not perfect. Good people can make mistakes. However, the constant orchestrated villainization of police officers has eroded the public's trust.
Boo-hoo. Why has that happened? Why has that happened? Can we take like 5 seconds to have some critical thinking here as to why the public perception of law enforcement has taken a nosedive?
An air of obstinance, disrespect, and assaultive attitudes and behavior towards police officers.
No,
What was that name we called her? Was that Comrade Kamala? Was that what it was? Kamala, Comrade. Well, what we do know is she supported defunding the police.
Dude, you see, they can't get her on that because she's literally a fucking prosecutor, or was a prosecutor. She was literally top cop. Like, you can't, sorry.
The multi-million-dollar...
All right, let's get to the funny part.
I've got a serious question. An illegal... Vote Trump.
We aren't expecting perfection, douche. We're expecting better from people who are supposed to protect us. Right. Exactly. Like, maybe just not, like, you know, murdering minorities. Like, we can start there.
If you support law enforcement and safe communities, vote Trump. If you support getting our country back on track and making America great again, vote Donald J. Trump for president. And this is why the Arizona Police Association and our 12,000 members, family, and friends are proud to extend our endorsement to Donald J. Trump for President of the United States of America. Thank you. God bless.
If you want to keep criminals from going to keep a criminal from going to jail, vote Trump. She is not a comrade. I agree. They can try, but there's nothing communist about Kamala Harris. People can make mistakes. If your police will not be held accountable for mistakes, but a civilian accountable, even if you don't know you broke a law. This is why qualified immunity is a stupidity clause. Yeah, qualified immunity is garbage. This happened after another speaker was told to get off stage because Trump was waiting. If you support law and order, Trump belongs in prison. Right, but that's the thing. Exactly, Dan Anonymously. Trump adulates the concept of a police state where armed thugs work for him, but actually doesn't care about law and order. Right? Like, he doesn't actually care about upholding the laws because he believes he's above them. He believes he can do whatever he wants. He literally said so. Yeah, like that's exactly what I was talking about. Anyways, all right, let's put the train back on the tracks because we got to get through some of these stuffs.
Struggling to keep him busy, writing, quote, aides did not want a situation where he was watching the DNC every night, getting angry, and then just golfing all day and stewing, according to people who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss private interactions. Trump also had grown annoyed with the news coverage that depicted him as not working as hard as his opponent, one person who talked to him said. So the campaign launched back-to-back events over the past week.
Correct, Blue Brother. Correct. It was good not to share. No, it's all good. Thank you, Mayhem Hippie. Correct. That's exactly how he sees it.
With the goal of counter-programming the Democratic Convention and securing news coverage as other campaigns have often done, but also as a way to keep Trump busy. The candidate, though, often appeared reluctant. He frequently departed from the policy themes assigned to each day's event, an attempt to keep him focused on poll-tested messages over his pugnacious impulses, illustrating his continued struggle to find his footing in a changed race. Listen, if you didn't know that these paragraphs were about a presidential candidate, you'd be reasonable to assume that they were talking about a toddler. I mean, isn't this exactly what you'd do if you were a parent?
True. Oh man, he can't work as hard as her. He's a frail man carrying twice as much weight as he ought to.
Parent trying to keep your toddler busy on a long trip. Like, you'd pack snacks, you'd think of games to play while on the road, you'd bring an iPad so that way they can watch Cocomelon and be entertained and stay busy. Because, I mean, if you don't do all of that, they're going to get bored and maybe throw a tantrum. That right there is basically what Trump's aides are trying to do for him, to stop him from throwing a temper tantrum. Right?
So sad.
If they didn't try to find things for him to do, he just watch the DNC and stew all day or golf and not be productive. It's amazing. It's amazing that we're talking about a presidential candidate here and a 78-year-old man. Like, holy shit. Now, what's funny is that as they try to save his campaign from him, he's getting irritated by his own aides. He's literally taking pot shots at his own advisors publicly. I'm not joking about this. So the Washington Post continues, quote, by Friday, though, Trump found a thumping audience in a packed 20,000-seat arena in Glendale, Arizona, the same one Harris and her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, filled a few weeks earlier. He pulled the audience on the nickname he settled on for Harris, Comrade Kamala, after several false starts, while sarcastically deriding his advisors as my geniuses. Yeah, so you get the sense that he doesn't think very highly of his own advisors. And I think it's because they're getting on his nerves by trying to get him to be serious. Now, this reporting from the Washington Post kind of confirms what we've all been seeing, right? They'll set up a press conference to try to keep him.
We're watching this dude unravel in real time because Biden isn't running. Like, listen, that alone gives me like somewhat a little bit of satisfaction just because like watching this guy unravel before our eyes because Biden isn't running because he was sure, and rightly so, he was sure that he was going to beat Biden, but now that that's no longer the case and things are uncertain and it is a possibility that he's actually going to lose, it is just this dude is just unraveling right before our eyes. I can't even give him a coloring book because he just eats the crayons.
Them on track on a particular subject, say the economy, for example, and they'll literally put visual aids behind him on a table so that way he stays on track. So that way he talks about inflation, as was the case at this event in Bedminster. You're seeing a photo of that now. But of course,
Bedminster.
You know, that press conference devolved into the same rambling bullshit that he's known for, because he is incapable of staying on track. And when his advisors set up a speech for him before the DNC and begged him to stay focused on the economy and the economy alone, well, watch what happened.
Now, this is a little bit different day because this isn't around. This is we're talking about a thing called the economy. They wanted to do a speech on the economy. A lot of people are very devastated by what's happened with inflation and all of the other things. So we're doing this as a intellectual speech. You're all intellectuals today. Today we're doing it, and we're doing it right now, and it's very important. They say it's the most important subject. I think crime is right there. I think the border is right there, personally.
Yes, racism and xenophobia. Yes, that's right where I need to be. Okay, dude. Okay.
We have a lot of important subjects because our country has become a third world nation. We literally are a third world nation. We're a banana republic in so many ways, and we're not going to let that happen because we're starting a free fall.
And just like that, he went off track. Although, to be fair to him, he did later bring up inflation again because his aides gave him some handy visual aids. Case in point.
Oh, I have it. I do have it.
Oh, my God.
Look at this. Look at this. So...
What? He says it so sarcastically. And he rallied at the same location Harris did before him. His audience was fewer than hers. It was either fake news or AI generated. You decide. Yeah, it's whatever, whatever the narrative needs, right? It was a fake crowd. It was AI. The news didn't report it right. That I agree with. Hey, Cognizant, how's it going? I think behind every one of his podiums is one of those metal bar with wooden shaped things you can find at the doctor's office.
This is Tic Tacs, right?
Tic Tacs. Tic-tac-toe. A winner. A winner.
I don't know if I like the company. I've never met. I have no idea. They're so lucky. Look at all the television. This is the greatest commercial they ever had. But that's what happened. This is inflation. This is Tic Tac. This is Tic Tac.
Oh my God! This is big. Tic-tac-toe, a winner vibes. Okay.
This is inflation. This is what's happened.
Just to remind everyone, poll after poll shows that most Americans trust this guy on the economy more than Harris. Yeah, kind of shows you where we're at as a country. But what Trump's 2024 team doesn't get is that you can't control Donald Trump. There's very little you can do to keep him on track or on message because for all intents and purposes, you are dealing with a 78-year-old.
Yeah, this is real. TikTok gets major stock drop just because it's linked with Trump.
Child with the emotional maturity of a toddler at best. And because he's cranky right now, you're not going to get him to not be cranky, right? He needs his nap time. He needs his blankie, maybe some apple juice. There's not much you can do. It's out of your control if you're an aide, right? It's like trying to control a bull in a china shop. The dude is just like shitting himself, watching TV, being pissed off at the headlines that Kamala Harris is generating. And there's very few things that you can do. And when you try to do that, you only piss him off more, right? And right now, he's mad. And he's throwing another tantrum in an effort to back out of a debate that he doesn't want to do, that he already agreed to. But what is so wild to me is that this is still a close race. As this NPR article points out, yes, Harris does have a lot of momentum, and she's statistically tied with him in most swing states, which was not the case with Biden. But I mean, it's still a very winnable race for him, which again, kind of shows you where we're at as a country. I have my criticisms of Harris. There are many. But when Donald Trump is the alternative, it shouldn't even be this close. But, you know,
just because if you showed me that clip to me, I wouldn't believe it's real. Oh, it's 100% real. There's actually a lot of clips like his rallies. The thing is, like, I just don't cover the Trump rallies because, like, there's literally no point. There's literally no point in covering the Trump rallies. But yeah, you if you watch them, you only need to watch one. You only need to watch one or two. You'll get sound bites like that. Okay, it's more technical than being a toddler. It's when narcissist feels cornered. Yeah,
things can change in his favor if he tried to act like an adult and played his cards right. The problem is, you know, everything goes to his head. The polls go to his head, the headlines, and most importantly, the attacks from the Harris campaign. They know how to get in his head in a way that Biden did not, to their credit. And his aides can't pull his head out of his own ass or get Harris out of his head because she lives there rent-free. And, you know, that's why the momentum has shifted in her favor. So, look, I don't know if he's going to show up to the debate at this point. I genuinely couldn't even guess because we don't know. We'll find out in due time. But even if he does show up, the fact that he's broadcasted again and again how scared he is by trying to back out multiple times is genuinely embarrassing. But I mean, it's Trump, so he has no shame. But still, embarrassing.
I'm gonna come.
Can we get Harris on stage to say, Trump, I'm laughing at your genius intellect? Ah. I think we can do this one and then get straight into the headlines.
And Trump is now the guy, the old man, ranting and raving on...
We'll just continue this kind of subject.
Social media. He's having trouble pivoting to Harris. And it's been weeks at this point. He's going with Comrade Kamala and Tampon Tim. Have you heard anybody else refer to them as that? Unless it's just your, QAnon uncle on Facebook. Back in the day, Trump used to...
used to the reality that Trump speeches get crazier each day, needs time to realize even after like 8 years. It shouldn't be normal, by the way. Like, I know that we're just like doing an extra dunk special because like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do to fascists. But none of this is normal and none of this is okay in terms of like how politics are played out. Like the way like Trump has distorted politics because of the fact that he literally lives in a completely alternative reality and has somehow beamed up his cult into this alternative reality cannot be normalized, cannot be like okayed at any point. The damage that this dude has done is quite frankly something that should be studied because this is just wild.
To have this branding down. Little Marco, Crooked Hillary. We can remember these. Well, Low Energy Jeb. This is just stuff
Sleepy
that he knew. He had his finger on the pulse of this kind of stuff, and now he's running as like a standard neocon about going to war with Iran.
Right. Well, I mean, also like standard neocon combined with like grumpy Fox News grandpa who also like used to be able to get off the recliner but can't anymore.
Right.
Some normal people who are kind of adopting, if not in exact wording, the framing that Trump has for Tim Walz are the normal folks over at Megyn Kelly's Sirius XM program. When
yeah, very normal and very hinged.
With her interviewing Tucker Carlson about
yes.
why she thinks...
Yeah, a meeting of the minds, huh? A meeting of intellectual titans. Megyn Kelly and
why
Tucker
they think
Carlson.
Tim Walz is so weird.
Yeah, what is the vibe that Tucker Carlson got from Tim Walz? You can tell he's a real man because of the flannel.
Kamala's dangerous open borders agenda is on the ballot. And your vote in Georgia can end Kamala's chaos.
And he's in his woodshed, which I'm sure costs like $1.5 million to renovate.
That's true, Footlong.
Why is he so obsessed with transing children, making it possible for them to separate from their parents and have their body parts chopped off?
Yep, true. A thing that Tim Walz is absolutely doing. Tim Walz is currently responsible for the 200,000 millionth transing of children. Even in a century, Trump will still be discussing psychological classes in universities. Yeah, like the Trump phenomenon and how he was like able to distort politics is something that definitely should be studied in social science and political science. No doubt about it.
Hello?
Yeah, well, I lived in a boys' dorm in a New England boarding school in the 1980s with a lot of guys like Tim Walz, okay? So I saw that guy and I'm like, oh, wow, I know exactly, you're a creeper, as we used to call him, for sure. And, you know, I guess I probably shouldn't. I definitely shouldn't.
Yeah, let me stop you right there, Tucky. You probably shouldn't. Whatever semblance of a thought that you were about to have, yeah, I'm gonna stop you right there and say that you're probably right and you probably shouldn't.
Suggest what I'm suggesting without evidence. I don't have evidence beyond what I've seen, so I just want to say that I'm probably. Again,
Do you mean like a pervert? Like, I don't. When you say creepy, like
yeah. Yeah.
Something wrong with that guy. He's a weirdo, and you can tell watching him. And
yeah. Hey, real quick, what are Tucker Carlson's thoughts about Donald Trump walking into dressing rooms of the teen pageants because he owned a teen pageant, and him boasting about him being able to walk into their dressing rooms because he, quote, owned the pageant. Can we get some thoughts on that? What about the very famous, several famous quotes that Trump has made about certain women and how he has touched them inappropriately because, quote, when you're famous, they let you do it. Any thoughts on that? Just curious. I'm just really, really curious. Kind of like when Trump admits liking to look at children naked. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Where he literally walked into the dressing rooms of the teen pageants because he owned one. Nothing because he would do it also together with Trump. Waltz went to a high school with 100 kids in Farm County, not a private school in Conrad, Mass, living in a dorm. Exactly. Also wanting to have with his underage daughter. Yeah, what was the quote exactly? Oh, if she wasn't my daughter, I'd be dating her. And what was the other quote? Oh, well, we don't know if she inherited certain characteristics of her mother, but I guess time will tell. I'm paraphrasing, but you get the gist. Ooh. I'm thinking that is no way creepy, and Trump is absolutely not a kitty, a PDF file.
And I'm sorry, I just lived long enough that I know that your gut level perceptions are rooted in truth. They're not always precisely true. I've gotten many things wrong. Like the details are unknown to me.
Feels.
But I look at that guy and I'm like, you're a weirdo. And everyone's like, no, he's so normal. No, not normal. Sorry. And so
there's another thing. There's another thing about Tim Walz that hasn't gotten as much airtime, and it's true. He actually did remove. They were coming up with the Minnesota human rights law and revising it, renewing.
So, gut level. You just know in your gut when someone's a creeper or someone's weird, he says. Do I have any evidence for this? No. Look, I don't want...
No, I've just got feels. Like, hey, quick, what are your gut feelings telling you about Donald Trump? I'm just curious. Right?
Want to be the subject of litigation in the same way that, some other people have been for making false statements, like Tim Pool and others.
Tucker Carlson's gut when it comes to, creepers and stuff like that. It's interesting if you go back and Justin Baragona at that time at the Daily Beast has a piece titled Tucker and guest source to prove Ilhan Omar. Oh, sorry, I just got an ad from. Oh my god.
Married her
brother.
brother.
Oh my god, Daily Beast is killing me. Prove Ilhan Omar smear and accuse child sex trafficker. Yeah, that was Tony Lazzaro, who was a big GOP guy and was later, I think, University of St. Thomas in Minneapolis, using college students to help groom other young women, and he's in jail now. That was the source of Tucker Carlson's Ilhan Omar married her brother for citizenship bullshit. So it's interesting. Tucker, for some reason, his spidey senses, which he developed at boarding school or whatever, didn't ring with Tony Lazzaro or Anton Lazzaro. You can Google that guy.
Yeah, you can. And as Matt said, that was a completely made up story about Ilhan Omar, a racist.
He just looked up to his role model, Trump. He said he could shoot somebody in Fifth Avenue and get away with it. And I think he said you can shoot somebody in Fifth Avenue and he'd still get votes. That was the quote. And they would still vote for him. How about this? We're printing all the ballots this year with transing hormones in the paper, so if you vote this year, you'll be trans. Yeah.
Smear about her that
let's do it.
Circulated on the internet. You got to trust, Tucker says, just trust his gut. When he says something about somebody, you've got to believe him, right? So I bring you text messages from litigation with Fox News. We are very, very close to being able to ignore Trump most nights. I truly can't wait, said Tucker Carlson in 2021, right after the election in that January. He said, I hate him passionately. I blew up at Peter Navarro today in frustration. I actually like Peter, but I can't handle much more of this. You got to trust your gut. So if Tucker's saying publicly how Trump is so great now, but he said that privately, how can you trust that he's accurately portraying his gut on air? I guess you just got to trust the vibes he has about Tim Walz. Just look at the guy. Let's microanalyze every detail of how he interacts with his wife to prove that we're not the weird ones or something like that.
Right.
Silly.
Dumbass Marks, if you believe Tucker Carlson these days.
Yeah, he's what I love about this era of Tucker Carlson is that it very much mirrors the irrelevancy that Bill O'Reilly fell into after leaving Fox News.
It'll be as provable as QAnon stuff.
It's nice to see these freaks humbled by the fact that they're not really all that once the multi-billion-dollar machine is not pumping them out to the masses for consumption.
I guess, how does Cybertruck handle a logging camp in rural Maine? We put it, he's doing ads for Elon Musk now.
Yeah.
But you're right in the sense that
sad.
I think there was a concern even that being Tucker post Fox News was going to be like, oh my God, what's his next move going to be, and where is his unique brand of right wing, his right wing ideology? Is it going to metastasize into another huge role somewhere else where he'll have more of a reach? It actually turns out that time slot is really what confers your power over anything else. You could basically put a potted plant in that time slot and everyone would be like, oh my God, what are they doing over there?
They have Jesse Waters there, so perhaps a potted plant would be an improvement given how he's not really doing so hot right now.
Yeah, the mental constitution of that potted plant is probably a little sharper than Jesse Waters' porridge brain.
That would stand to reason.
Hi, folks. Hey, you've heard me criticize how the mainstream media...
All right. No. Thank you, Sam. If you're male, you're already technically trans. Yeah, but don't look too much into it, okay? Don't look into too much basic biology and how we develop as human beings. Don't look too much into that. All right, let's just kind of speed run through this. The DNC sues Georgia Election Board for passing rules delaying certification of results. So we went over the disturbing things that are happening in Georgia, and it looks like the Democratic National Committee are going to sue to stop those rules that were passed that we talked about earlier in an effort to kind of stop these anti-democratic moves. Because you dang well know that Republicans will try to delay the certification of the election if it doesn't go their way. And they've given the committees the power to do so via this rule because Trump people got in these committees. This kind of make me wonder how fast Republicans would change their stance on abortion if they found out half the babies get a sex change during the process. They wouldn't understand that. They would just perform mental gymnastics to say that whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, I don't think these people will buy it, even if, because like logically you're thinking too logically as to how these people would react. Yeah, it's not just something that you can apply to Republicans, unfortunately. Did they confirm the 65 plus voting bloc is skewed to the Dems for the first time in 30 years? I haven't heard that, but that would be interesting. In any case, I'm gonna put this up here. The TLDR is that the election rules in Georgia that we went over is now being challenged. Is now being challenged by the DNC. What will come out of that, I'm not sure. And if we do have a resolution to this, we'll keep up with it because that's important. As a general rule, buyer logic type of arguments are completely useless. Right. Yeah. RFK may be unable to withdraw his name from ballots in some swing states. After spending several months and millions of dollars overcoming onerous requirements to try to get on the ballot in all 50 states, RFK Jr. And his brainworms are now facing a new barrier to get off the ballot in some states. Last Friday, Kennedy announced that he was effectively ending his independent presidential campaign, encouraging his supporters to vote for him in non-competitive states, but to support Trump in others. RFK just filed to be on the ballot in Kentucky yesterday. Yeah, he's trying to get off the ballot in what is perceived as competitive states, while remaining in the rest of them, I guess. In about 10 battleground states where my presence would be a spoiler, I'm going to remove my name, and I've already started the process and urge voters not to vote for me. But an NPR interview finds it may not be possible for Kennedy to remove his name in the majority of the 7 swing states: Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, and Wisconsin. Every state has different procedures and deadlines with regard to ballot access and withdrawal, but the later a withdrawal happens, the harder it is for a state to remove a name from the ballot, said David Becker, executive director for the Center of Election Innovation and Research. Some states have already declined. Some states have deadlines have already passed, and many states have already begun the process of printing the ballots. Before his announcement, Kennedy's campaign said it gathered enough signatures to appear on 47 ballots and officially gained access in 22 states. And while the campaign did not specify what states he would seek to leave, below is where the things stand in 10 of the closest states. Guy can't do anything right, can he? Nope. His name mostly. That's a good answer. Why would any Democrat vote for him? The simulacra basically answered that. He's on North Carolina. Well, if you're a Trumper and somehow listening to this, then you should vote for RFK. To the folks who are Trumpers and also somehow are listening, vote for RFK. That is obviously the logical choice. Kennedy filed for Arizona. He'd filed paperwork to remove his name from Arizona, but the day before announcing the suspension of his campaign. In Florida, Kennedy has withdrawn his name from the ballot in Florida, where he is set to appear as a nominee for the Reform Party. He submitted the request Friday before the state's deadline for minor political parties to nominate their president and vice president candidates and certify the names of the state. On Monday, with regards to Georgia, on Monday, an administrative law judge ruled that Kennedy and his electors were not qualified to appear on Georgia's presidential ballot, with the final decision resting with the Secretary of State. In the initial decision, Judge Michael Mahili found that Kennedy and his 16 electors had technical deficiencies with the petition process that made them ineligible to appear. If Raffensperger, a Republican, affirms the judge's decision, then Kennedy will be off the ballot. If Raffensperger disagrees, Kennedy can still request to have his name withdrawn. In Michigan, Kennedy must stay on the ballot in Michigan. Nevada, it's already too late. North Carolina, Kennedy's creation of We the People Party of North Carolina in the short amount of time before the election means he could likely stay on the ballot, as Michael Hassler just pointed out. Ohio, Kennedy will no longer appear on the Ohio ballot. Of all the battleground states, perhaps none is being more contested by both Democrats and Republicans than Pennsylvania. Kennedy's candidacy has been challenged in court until Friday when his lawyers filed the notice that he no longer opposes the challenge. A judge then granted Kennedy's request to withdraw from the candidacy. Texas, after overcoming one of the most significant ballot access thresholds in the country, RFK has removed his name from there too. Wisconsin is another state where law appears to set to keep Kennedy on the ballot despite his intentions to withdraw, so he's probably going to stay there as well. From his political point of view, even if he's technically a Democrat, his ideas are Republican. Yeah, he's just a Republican. I mean, so much so that he even left the Democratic Party. So, yeah. Well, bye-bye. Bye-bye, good riddance. So, on that train, hey, who would have seen this coming, right? Ex-Democratic Representative Tulsi Gabbard has endorsed Trump. Wow. Very surprising. Who could have thought? Who would have thought? The biggest surprise Pikachu face, huh? Thus the brain worms in thought and physically. Tulsi Gabbard, a former Democratic Congresswoman, has endorsed Donald Trump. Gabbard, who served in the military in Iraq, ran for president in the Democratic primary in 2020. She quit the party 2 years later and has become a fixture at conservative conferences and right-wing media. Addressing a National Guard Association conference in Detroit, Michigan, where Trump was speaking, Gabbard said, "This administration has us facing multiple wars on multiple fronts in regions around the world and closer to the brink of nuclear war than we have ever been before. This is one of the main reasons why I'm committed to doing all that I can to send President Trump back to the White House where he can once again serve us as our commander-in-chief. Because I'm confident that the first task will be to do the work to walk us back from the brink of war." I can fix her. Man. Gabbard, who represented Hawaii in Congress and is former vice chair of the DNC, accused the Democratic nominee Kamala Harris of retaliating against political opponents, undermining civil liberties, and weaponizing American institutions against both Trump and herself. "We as Americans must stand together if we reject this anti-freedom culture of political retaliation and abuse of power." Oh man, is someone gonna tell her? Is someone gonna tell her about who actually is quite comfortable with political retaliation and which side is actually comfortable and quite frankly commonly found to be engaging in abuses of power? If I believed Kennedy's view on vaccination, chances are I would be dead now. I mean, true. Gabbard's announcement comes a day after RFK, a scion of a Democratic dynasty, suspended his own White House bid and threw his weight behind Trump. Elon Musk, who describes himself as a historically a moderate Democrat but now fascist, is also backing the former president. Freedom. Enemy of the deep state, Lieutenant Colonel Tulsi Gabbard of a Little Psychological Operations Unit. Democrats dismissed Gabbard's endorsement. Alex Floyd, rapid response director for the DNC, said Donald Trump's MAGA brand is so toxic that he's resorted to touting supporters from off-putting extremists like RFK and Tulsi Gabbard. Agreed. Gabbard and Trump have a lot in common. They both have earned their praises of white supremacists and other extremists, celebrated the overturning of Roe v. Wade, and campaigned for dangerous election deniers. Yep. Trump, who has been portraying Harris as a left-wing extremist, told the gathering on Monday this fight can no longer be between Democrats and Republicans. This fight is between communism and freedom. True. Known communist Kamala Harris. Yeah. It's a very serious fight. That's why millions of traditional Democrats, including FDR Democrats, JFK Democrats, and independent and old-fashioned liberals are joining our movement, and our poll numbers are great. Sure, whatever makes you sleep at night, sir. Trump admitted that he had not been aware that Gabbard served as a lieutenant colonel in the army. She's a special person, she added. She's got great common sense, great spirit. She loves her country and loves the people in the room. Wait a minute, not just a lieutenant colonel, okay? I think it's important to point out where she was serving as a lieutenant colonel. Recently, Gabbard had been helping Trump prepare for next month's televised presidential debate against Harris. In 2020, she took Harris to task on the debate stage over her record as a prosecutor, a clip that still circulates right-wing media. Trump, who earlier laid wreaths during a ceremony at Arlington National Cemetery, was marking the 3rd anniversary of a suicide bombing that killed 13 service members during the withdrawal of Afghanistan. Quote, the humiliation in Afghanistan set off the collapse of the American credibility and respect around the world, he said in Detroit, seeking to blame Harris and Joe Biden for the deaths. In her own statement, marking the anniversary of the Kabul airport attack, Harris said she mourns the 13 service members who were killed. My prayers are with the families and loved ones. My heart breaks for their pain and loss. Yeah, whatever. It's the grift that keeps on grifting. Jimmy Dore apparently is also behind the Trump train, stating something to the effect of like Trump is now running to the left of Kamala Harris. So yeah, the grift that keeps on grifting. And here's the reward for bending the knee. Trump adds RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard to the presidential transition team. Former President Trump has tapped RFK Jr. and former Representative Tulsi Gabbard to his transition team, bringing both aboard in formal roles on the heels of their endorsements. All they had to do was kneel. As President Trump's broad coalition of supporters and endorsers expand across partisan lines, not really. There's no crossover of partisan lines here. They're just Republicans, right? They're just conservatives. So no, this is not a indication of Trump's coalition of broad, Trump's coalition of being broad and crossing over partisan lines. We are proud that RFK Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard have been added to the Trump-Vance transition team, said senior campaign advisor Brian Hughes in a statement. We look forward to having their powerful voices on their team as we work to restore America's greatness. New York Times first reported that Kennedy and Gabbard were joining the transition team. Kennedy had all but confirmed his new role during a recent interview with former Fox host Tucker Carlson. Yeah. Crossing partisan divide. Got it. I've been asked to go on the transition team, to help pick people who will be running the government, and I'm looking forward to that. Kennedy last week suspended his independent White House bid and endorsed Trump, a move that the former president campaign has argued will give him a boost in battleground states where Kennedy was pulling away for support from Trump. I don't know, but whatever. Gabbard, who left the Democratic Party in 2022 and has been since become a regular presence in conservative media, i.e. a Republican, endorsed Trump on Monday. Gabbard has also been assisting Trump ahead of debates with Vice President Harris on September 10th. Trump announced earlier this month the leadership for his transition team, which would lay the groundwork for personnel and policy moves that should he win in November. The team is being led by two top donors of the Trump campaign, Linda McMahon, who previously served the head of the Small Business Administration during Trump's first term, and businessman Howard Lutnick, head of the financial firm Cantor Fitzgerald. His running mate, J.D. Vance, will serve as an honorary chair, as will his elder son, Eric Trump, and Don Jr. Beavis and Butthead. Nice. So they brought in someone more loony than Trump and someone who might be able to partially program Trump's brain. Yes. Gabbard is a Republican. She didn't enter the party just yet. Yeah, same difference. Like you're right. You're right, Blue Brother. Like she's all but a Republican, right? Like she's been in conservative media for years now. Like she's a Republican. She's conservative, exactly. But yeah, everything but just being registered Republican. But a small, a distinction without a difference. Although not sure what they'll be able to do with the 64 KB storage of Trump's brain. All right, folks, we got one more article. Judge blocks Biden administration from granting legal status to immigration spouses of U.S. citizens. Can we guess who appointed this judge? Anyone want to take a guess at who appointed this judge? I don't think the kids even know what a kilobyte is anymore. I remember. Carter, no. A floppy disk. Oh, man. I actually don't have any more floppy disks at all. But man, I remember the struggle with those things. Man, having your work being saved in a floppy disk and then having to present that work in class and then having that document completely not being able to open in your classroom's computer, but it worked in yours. Man, those were man, 1 a.m. I gotta get to bed. See you. Well, thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. Have a good night. I don't think I don't think I've shown this on stream, but I still have one of the AOL internet discs, CDs, but I don't have any floppy disks anymore. Instead of loading screens in games, you got please insert disk 3. Exactly. I believe Chris Hedges groomed to infiltrate and be a fake left candidate, like his fake left media folks like Dorr and Gray and Greenwald. Yeah, maybe. Maybe, although she's quite capable of doing that. Given her background, but I mean, you know, all those people are the same. A federal judge in Texas on Monday temporarily blocked the Biden administration from granting legal status to unauthorized immigrants married to American citizens, granting a request from 16 Republican-led states who challenged the new policy. The order by District Court Judge Campbell Barker effectively brings to a halt a larger immigration program that opened last week to an estimated 500,000 immigrants living in the U.S. without legal status. While preliminary and temporary, the ruling is also an early blow to one of two major moves taken by President Biden in June on immigration, a top campaign issue in 2024 for the president. Announced just weeks after another executive action that had greatly curtailed access to asylum at the southern border, the program known as Keeping Families Together was announced as a measure to address the plight of some of the undocumented immigrants who have lived in the U.S. for years in legal limbo. The policy allows unauthorized immigrants to apply for temporary work permits and deportation protections under an immigration benefit known as parole if they are married to a U.S. citizen, have lived in the country for at least 10 years, and passed background checks. The program is also open to undocumented stepchildren of U.S. citizens. Those with felony convictions would be ineligible for the process. Most importantly, the program also unlocks a streamlined path to permanent residency and, after several years, U.S. citizenship for eligible immigrants. Immigrants, including those living in the U.S. illegally, can get a green card if they marry an American citizen. But U.S. law generally requires those who entered the U.S. illegally to leave the country and re-enter legally to be eligible for a green card. Doing so, however, can trigger a 3 to 10 year ban from the U.S., prompting many mixed status families not to pursue that option. While the Biden administration has argued its initiative promotes family unity in the households that includes U.S. citizens, Texas and other Republican-controlled states said in the lawsuit that that's actually not what we care about because we're actually not the party of family values. That the policy rewards illegal immigration. The red states, which have challenged nearly every major Biden administration immigration move, said the policy misused the Immigration Parole Authority. On Monday, Barker, the federal judge in Texas, appointed by former President Donald Trump, shocker. He was promoting her early on Truth Out. It's not like he's granting them citizenship. Not outright. And then not. There, as we pointed out, as the article pointed out, there's several hurdles to be passed there. They'll just do what corporations do, wait till there's a month away from citizenship and deport them. On Monday, Barker, the federal judge in Texas appointed by former President Trump, issued an administrative order prohibiting the Department of Homeland Security from granting parole to those applying for the Keeping Families Together policy. Barker made his order valid for 14 days, but suggested he could extend it. While they can't approve them, federal officials can continue accepting applications under the program. The Department of Homeland Security spokesperson Nari Katuda confirmed on Tuesday that the agency has stopped approving cases under those processes. Keeping Families Together enables U.S. citizens and their families members to live without fear of separation, consistent with fundamental American values. Katuda said the Department of Homeland Security will comply with the court's decision, including continuing to accept applications while we defend keeping families together in court. Former Trump White House immigration advisor and neo-Nazi Stephen Miller, whose group America First Legal joined the lawsuit filed by Texas and other GOP-led states, praised the Monday's court order. Quote, "This is a huge victory in our courtroom battle to block Biden-Harris executive fiat giving over 1 million illegal aliens a path to U.S. citizenship." In a statement on Tuesday, Biden had said the ruling by a single district court in Texas was wrong. These families should not be needlessly separated, Mr. Biden added. They should be able to stay together, and my administration will not start fighting for them. Art Puke, howdy. It's been a while since I've tuned in. Well, welcome. Welcome back, I should say. Howdy, howdy. Caught the tail end of the stream. Jane Doe, welcome. Howdy. Caught the tail end of the stream, but I'm glad that you're stopping by. Appreciate that. All right, folks, we got to get out of here. It is time. Just over 7 o'clock, too. Perfect. We got through everything that we needed to get through. Pretty smooth sailing. All right, folks, it's time for me to get going. Thank you all for stopping by. I appreciate it. Thank you all. If you want to support the channel, don't forget there are many different ways of doing so. Consider checking out the YouTubes if you haven't done so. Keep liking the stream. I see you guys on the YouTube, and I see some of you have already subscribed. We just passed 250. We're at 255 subscribers on YouTube. So definitely a few of you have subscribed. Thank you. I appreciate it. Consider joining the Discord, folks. This Saturday, as Heat just pointed out, this Saturday is movie night. We do movie nights last Saturday of the month, unless stated otherwise. Yeah. Join us on the Discord. This Saturday we'll be streaming Dune number 2. If you haven't watched the first one, get to it. Get to it. Saturday will be here before you know it. See you tomorrow-ish. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Tomorrow is tentative. I've got a feeling that's not gonna happen. I've got a feeling it's not gonna happen, but we'll see. If I can, I'll make like a lightning round and do all the important headlines before having to go. Maybe make like an hour-long stream. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, free trading cards in the Discord too. So if you join the Discord, go to memes, okay? Amazing. Thank you, Globus. That was pretty funny. I like that. Yeah, Dune 2, join us on the Discord. We'll be streaming. We'll be streaming. Yeah, the Bitcoin stream for life. There you go. Join us on the Discord. We'll be streaming Dune number 2 around 6 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be doing that about 6 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you all for stopping by. Thank you, Heat. Thank you, Michael Hassler, for modding the chat. I appreciate you guys. If not tomorrow, what's that in old money? No clue. If not tomorrow, Thursday, we'll be back, even if it's a short stream on Thursday. Either way, the Discord is also a good way to keep up with the channel as I make announcements. I'll post something on Twitter as well, or Blue Sky. I'll just copy paste that on Blue Sky and Twitter, and in case you are not in the Discord, I'll post the announcement there. But most likely tomorrow is going to be a no. We'll see. Thank you all for stopping by. My pleasure. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you all for the support. I appreciate you guys. You guys are what makes this channel grow. We'll be back again probably Thursday. In any case, thank you guys. I appreciate it. As always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one, whenever that may be. Thank you. See ya. Love the emotes. Hang tight, everybody. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.